All right, it is time. We have the final of finals, the Colossal of Titans, the absolute last best of 3 match you're ever gonna want to watch until you watch the next best of 3 match. We have late rotations versus awkward silence.
This is going to be intense. Just looking at these starting comps, though, awkward silence has got one hell of a comp.
Thanatos. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just Thanatos.
I mean, it is a good skin, right? Don't get me wrong. But you got a Sobek, a Hercules, and a Chiron to set up in a Wheelix. There's a Xing Chen and a Hu Yi on the other side. I mean, this is the freest pulls I've ever seen in my life.
It is incredibly scary because here's the thing. The Awilish doesn't even need a good build. Yes, we don't know what the builds are. We're not into the game yet. But Awilish does not need a good build. All Awilish does is need to hit a pull to bring somebody into the team so that they can kill.
Indeed, and kill they might.
They do that in space.
The coolest thing about this comp, though, is that they've got the Morrigan, right? So the Morrigan has a couple of solid transformations, but honestly, she could turn into whoever has the best build. Doesn't even have to be about the character. It can be, this guy's got a lot of damage, so I'm going to turn into him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you know, I'm actually curious if what's going to go down Deep64's mind when it comes time to transform for the first time. He goes, oh gosh, what build am I going to pick up when I do this? Like, 'cause that's gonna play a factor into this. Not just what god, but what build you're going to be getting. I mean, and with that said, I mean, we're giving a lot of praise over here to the boys in blue, but over in the red corner, I mean, Hu Yi, phenomenal pick in this map. There's a lot of corners. There's a lot of angles that can be used. Xing Tian is never bad. Even if you can't get anyone with your ultimate, it is perfect for zone control. Everyone loves a good Chronos. You're going to have a lot of pressure and a lot of push, and that's what I really like, and I think that's the most important thing for this team if the builds are going correctly. Chronos is essentially a magical ADC. You're going to be able to push both of those lanes very well with the Hu Yi and the Chronos. And then last but not least, Thanatos, who, let's be honest, it almost doesn't matter what you build on him, because no matter what damage he does, no matter what protections he has, he can still execute you.
Yeah, as long as someone gets low, there are going to be kills here for a Crypto on the Thanatos, but again, there could be a Thanatos on the other side as well, and that is something to consider, right? Because if I'm the Morrigan, my eyes are on this Thanatos pick for my first couple of transforms. Then I might switch over to the Xing Chen. You know, generally the thought process is like, first couple of transforms, I could be basically whoever. It doesn't really matter that much. But when you get into the late game, it does end up being a little bit better for you if you go into something more tanky. You want to be survivable. You want to be able to get in, get out, de-transform, and then get back to your typical Morrigan gameplay. So, yeah, they gotta keep that into consideration.
And getting in is what we're going to do right now as we get into game number 1 on a best of 3 set between awkward silence and late rotations as everyone loads in and we get the first look at what these items are going to be. And Lermy, I'm at the edge of my seat quite literally, because I mean, this is the make or break moment. Like, these starter items really make the head scratchers scratch, and just kind of, how are you going to work with them, especially the starter items that they have to pick up?
All right, well, everyone has loaded in, it does seem, so it's going to be just a couple moments more until the starter items come through, and you can already see some insane ones off the bat. We've got Boombas on both of the mages, which, if they get to level 20, I'm sure hoping that's a Boomba's hammer, because they both go so hard with that item.
That's great. It looks like we do have a benevolence on Hercules. I'm a fan. I like it. Can we talk about the tainted steel on the Chiron, however?
Yeah, I guess it's not the worst person to have it on.
It's not terrible.
Thanatos has healing, Mulan's got healing, Hu Yi probably gets lifesteal at some point, Xing Chen, Chronos, I mean, it applies, right? So all of them, you know, have some form of sustain in one way or the other, so I'm not mad about this pickup, but if we're looking at the relics here, 2 Aegises on the side of late rotations to deal with that Thanatos transformation, but there's also 2 meds on Awkward Silence, so if they did want to med bait the Thanatos, it's there.
Very true. Not to mention the 2 meds, also the shell. That is also going to come into a play. Nice pluck from the Sobek getting there. Unfortunately, Charlie was a little bit late out of lane, so the red buff does go. Oh no, big fight happening. Kronos very low. However, Sobek now stuck, being chopped out. Nope, that is going to be the end of this engagement. Or is it a Willish coming in, doing a nice little feather step there, but the feather step is not going to be enough. And now Hercules stopping everyone on that engagement. The pluck coming back from the Sobek. Girdle's down. Girdle means go. And Duke has first blood for Awkward Silence.
That was an insane turnaround there. That pluck from the Sobek is really what sealed the deal there. You're Thanatos. You can't leap away. You're stuck in the middle of 4 people. But I mean, what do you do at that point? That's your early game done.
Yeah, that's literally it. And meanwhile, with everyone over in left lane fighting right now, Sobek might drop here. Yes, so Sobek's gotta die. Sobek's gotta die, right? Sobek's gone.
Surely.
The tail whip! No! No!
Why did Hui hold his ult there? He had ult. Oh no.
No!
That's Sobek living. That's 1 kill that late rotations could have had to get on the board, and they just didn't choose to use the 1 tool they had to finish him off.
That was one of the most well-timed tail whips I've ever seen in my days. That was beautiful, knocking that Hui back and giving the space needed to get out of there. Just, I don't even know what else to say. But I mean, meanwhile, over in right lane, Willish and Morgan have essentially been able to just free farm this because everyone was over in left. Like, look at the damage they have on the tower already, just shoving the minion waves in. Morgan's already level 6.
And that's huge for the Morgan, because the faster she gets leveled up, the more often she's going to be able to use those ultimates. And that changeling, I just feel it in my bones that this is going to be the determining factor. Is if this changeling goes super well for Awkward Silence, that's going to be their game to win.
Definitely. It's one thing to keep the eye on. Looks like Shington not going to actually back out of there. Mulan forced to ult away. That's going to be on a nice little cooldown, and that is something that Awkward Silence should be able to take advantage of moving forward. If they do so, put themselves in a nice little advantage position here. Now, pushing over on that left-hand side, getting underneath the tower, that's kind of nice this early in the game. The pressure needs to start coming out on the right side of the map, though, because that siege is going to be coming up. Kronos ult also forced out by the Willish. That feather step was just beautiful. Thanatos crashing down, not going to be enough. Hercules Boulder coming through. Shang Tian, wash him, dosh him, and get him back in there. Diva comes in with that Thanatos. Scythe is good. Silence is out, giving Lemon the Suns are going to rain down. And now it looks like it's going to be a nice little 1-for-1 trade as both teams disengage.
Yeah, that was such a sick transformation there from Dave. And unfortunately there, Duke did use both his ability to get out of there with the Chiron Cleanse and the ultimate. Xing Chen just rolls up with the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel at the perfect opportunity, throws them back into the Suns. They do get that kill, but the 1-for-1 trade is really sick here, and unfortunate there for Fearson. He tries to get in and get the pluck. Even if he'd gotten the pluck there probably wasn't much to be done with it, since Hercules wasn't really that close. But hey, a pluck's a pluck. You gotta go for it.
Yeah, you gotta go for it. You gotta see what you can do. And one thing, that fight just put Willish and Morgan a little bit further on that XP chart, so that both of them are level 8. However, there are 3s on there. Levels aren't too much right now, but hey, that experience is good. But as we were saying earlier, before that fight broke out, never mind, we got another fight breaking out on the left. However, Xing Tian, he's going to be fine, just take a little bit of damage. Right side, late rotations is grouping up to take that siege minion. Are they going to be able to drop that before Awkward Silence is able to get there?
Yeah, they've got it.
Yeah,
they did
they
it.
got it. They got it. Late rotations was able to secure
zone
that.
away. Hercules is trying to get in there, throws the boulder out. Unfortunate miss there on the ability, but they do actually get the knock up on the Lemon. They pop the girdle, and 3 people are getting dragged into the rest of late rotations. Chiron Snipe is coming through, but they have isolated Charlie. He goes down to Corker, who does get the double. A Crypto went up in the air to try and peel out his buddy, but unfortunately it was way too late.
Yeah, just too much was happening there. Late rotations may have gotten the Juggernaut, but I don't know if that was really worth putting them on. I mean, they're not behind by that much. A thousand gold, essentially. 1,500 gold, maybe, but it's... Oh my gosh, look at that Ricochet. Nicely done. Almost the morale boost from that, though. I mean, Awkward Silence really put themselves in an aggressive position. We are going to make you pay for this. And then late rotations just went bet.
They certainly did pay for it, though, so regardless of the outcome there, it is still looking pretty good for Awkward Silence. They were able to grab that enhanced blue buff on the left-hand side as well. They're pretty happy about that 20% cooldown onto the Awilix. Even more pulls, mind you. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, you gotta love that. Now, we haven't talked too much about builds recently. Two things I want to point out. Number one, Breastplate of Valor on the Hu Yi. Number two, Emperor's Armor on that Xing Tian. That is gonna feel nice.
Yeah, you know what? I honestly don't hate having Breastplate here. That's more ricochets, that's more suns, and we're not mad at either of those things. And Emp Armor is pretty good if you're playing defensive, and even offensively, it can be fairly solid for diving as well, but it looks like the Gravity Surge was used there by Corkerman, not able to get anyone all the way into his squad, but, you know, maybe they'll get a solid pull chain going on. You get a pull from the Sobek into the Awilix ult, into the Hercules push and pull, and I mean, I hope we see that this game.
I hope we see that. I don't know if we will. Sobek forced to pluck away from that fight rather than go in. Hu Yi tossing out those ricochets, trying to see what he can land. But yes, that Breastplate is something I do enjoy on him, because when I'm playing Hu Yi, it's just me. I'm not going for, you know, critties or anything like that. I'm going for ability-based stuff. Now, Sobek, nice tail whip. Amazing driving strike from Hercules on that engagement. Aram able to get the kill. Thanatos go up, Thanatos go down. Nothing is going to happen with it, though. However, Dev is going to be able to get that kill in the back now, transforming into that Thanatos. Kronos is going to be forced to ultimate. He's going to go back into the fight, into danger, surrounded with a Hercules there. I don't know if that's where you're going to want to be. However, no! Able to get that kill onto the Sobek. However, Corkerman is going to be able to come in and get that under tower, but is going to go down to Lemons. It is so far a 2-for-2 trade. Neither team wants to give up. Scythe hitting into the face. Ricochet is just off the mark, and it looks like that will be it for this engagement. What a good play from both teams.
Yeah, back to back, but we have the respawn here from Fishboy. Looks to go for the arrow shot, but doesn't actually hit anyone. So they're off to find something else to do. They've got minions pushing up that right-hand side. Teleport out from the Chronos, so that's all taken care of. But that tower is getting a little bit low. You see the pings coming out for the speed buff, so everybody from late rotations, aside from the Xing Chen, is here to defend this enhanced speed that will be spawning relatively soon.
You know, it's kind of funny. I don't mean to make a play on the words here, but late rotations have been, well, let's say it, late rotating to that right-hand lane. That structure damage onto that tower almost completely done by minions, I'm pretty sure, that have just been able to be shoved up due to everyone fighting over in the left. Speed buff will go ahead and drop to them. Not too much with that. For what Awkward Silence can do. Gravity Surge coming in. Nice pull on the Chronos. The ult is down. The life is down. Now coming through. Driving Strike. Putting that Mulan into the wall. Boulder comes out, but unfortunately not the right direction it wants to go. Doesn't matter. Corkerman's going to come in. Get the double kill. On the Awilix, the Suns rain down. Xing Tian tries to rain harder. The whirlwind of Raging Steel is going, and everyone is fighting. Aram comes in, gets the kill with a masterful shot on that Chiron. Xing Tian trying to jump away, but is not able to do so. That is another double kill, and Awkward Silence, well, they're not being silent. They are very, very loud with their actions right now.
That's going to be the stun there onto the Sobek. He's going to have to be a little bit careful here. Arrow comes out once again, but misses. They're going to back out just because they don't really want to push up into this tier 2 with everybody respawning. But one thing about that last fight that I do want to note is that there was a really solid pull into the tower by the Xing Chen, but unfortunately, it just was not enough to put the damage on the enemies. They were just so tanky. Their builds are, I mean, across the board, relatively tanky between the Hercules and the Sobek, and so the tank's getting tank builds. I mean, you've got to be happy to see that. Awilix herself has also got 2 pen items, And on this left-hand side, they do grab the Juggernaut with minimal contest. So at least late rotations is finding their way to get back into it.
Yeah, the biggest problem was follow-up. Xing Tian got an amazing ultimate off and put 3 members of Awkward Silence under the tower. The problem with that is the tower only attacks one of them at a time, dealing the damage, and no one on late rotations was able to really follow up. And that siege minion is now gone. That would, like, Awkward Silence let them get it. Like, Hercules kind of stepped up to it a little bit, but late rotations is not stepping up to that siege to fight under that. That was going to go down really quickly. It looks like we are fighting. Gravity Surge is going to pull up. Oh my gosh, Hu Yi did not think that was going to happen. The Suns are going to rain down. A very nice pull from that one. Is going to be able to get out. And now Xing Tian in the middle of all of them rotating back over. Is Mulan, is something able to be happening? It comes out with the grapple. No, Corkerman is able to pick it up onto Charlie. Sobek is still alive? How? What an unfortunate engagement off of that. Lemon just innocently leaping up into the air. And then, no, they're not done. They are not done. Going
the
back
Xing Tian transform. We've got the Kronos ult being popped. That's going to be the end of the transformation, but that's also the end of the tower and the end of Lexo's life. We've got Thanatos up in the air. Run, run, run as fast as you can, but a Crypto will catch you because he's the gingerbread man. Unfortunately, he's going to juke out that stun there from Div, and Div is doing their best to juke through the minions. Ricochet is good, but turn around as well onto Fishboy, who goes down to Corkerman.
Corkerman is absolutely unhinged on this Awilish. There's just nothing that can be done. The Ricochet is just a little bit off the mark. Duke is going to be able to pick that up. Corkerman will finally fall to Charlie. That Xing Tian a little bit, but nothing much else can be done. I'm pretty sure he drops here. Driving Strike is off the mark. Never mind. I think he's going to be good and able to get away from there now. But
they're backing up here to this bracer as much as they can. They've got the extra movement speed, and Hercules is out of mana. Ultimate coming through. Oh, they're gonna trade. They have to trade right. No, the snipes are off the mark.
No.
The Aegis popped as well, and they both live. What?
They're both out. They're both out. What?
In what world?
I feel like each engagement goes on for about 10 minutes in this game, and obviously it hasn't because it's only been a 12-minute game. But good gosh, that fight went on long enough for Hu Yi, who was initially engaged on, to go back to base, heal up, run back, fight, and then almost die again, and then get out. This is nuts. All right, Siege Juggernauts are on the map. Both teams are positioning over on the right-hand side. Late rotations is really taking it right now. We'll see if Awkward Silence is able to pull this and steal it. Hu Yi is in an awkward spot right now between Awkward Silence, dashing into that one, now dashing out. And it looks like Kronos is going to be able to hit that onto Awilish. Awilish, a lot of damage coming through. Corkerman's dropping. That is huge for late rotations. And the siege will go down for Awkward Silence in the end as they continue to aggress onto this team. Both splitting right now as the siege minions clear out into the middle. It looks like, oh, yep, there we go. Over on the side, we have a little bit of a connection with the Hercules, but not going to be enough. Thorns is popped and used. And that will be enough to deter and get on out of there. Now, fighting into the siege, we'll see what happens. Hercules is backing. Get ready for a big teleport in as soon as he heals back up to continue on with this engagement. Very nice from the Kronos. Lots of moves coming through. Whirlwind of Rage Seal is moved, but slightly off the mark. Is going to get Kronos, but just not enough coming through. Corkerman is also back into the fray as it goes, and late rotations have running away, but they can't run because Gravity Surge is here. Gravity Surge don't care. Gravity Surge is helping, giving Lemon taken down. Aram gets credit for that one kill, and now they are sieging into that T2 tower. Very low is Sobek. The tower is going to get the last shot onto that one. Corkerman going into the backline now, taking down Xing Tian, feather stepping over Thanatos, and Thanatos is getting away, but that is a T2 tower. Their siege minion is still at half health. I believe they're going to get a Phoenix off of this one, Lermy.
They certainly are going to try. They're doing solid damage to it, and down it goes. Juggernaut is still alive, but everybody's respawning back. Nice science coming out of the Thana, but that is a ton of damage and even more CC onto Fishboy, who falls straight on down. Thanatos goes up into the hovering death, but comes on down on Duke of Thickness, who, I mean, he's pretty thick right now. He's not taking any damage from that, so he's going to walk on out of there alive, and unfortunately for late rotations, that is their entire right side cleaned on out. And the only thing standing between Awkward Silence and that Titan is that left-hand side.
Yeah, that's got to be the focus right now. I gotta say, I was really looking forward to crit Thanatos, but I don't think it's working.
No, not really.
I don't think it is, but I got really excited with seeing it, but unfortunately, there's so much tankiness coming from the other side of Awkward Silence. There's not a whole lot that can happen. I mean, look at the build from this Hercules. This is a crit Hercules, actually, now that I think, look at it. Oh my gosh.
It is.
We have a crit Hercules. It's done.
Malicious Deathbringer on Chiron, pretty normal, right? But no other crit, it seems, on the other side. It's really going to be about who's critting better, I guess, between the two of them. But certainly this 4-0 and 13 Chiron is saying it's him, and I am inclined to believe him.
I gotta say, one thing that's got to be hurting, Mulan only has 25 stacks on that Transcendence at 15 minutes into the game. Ouch.
Not the best look for this Mulan, unfortunately. 0-6 at this point. Just not been able to get much of the work done. They have a lot of damage, but they just can't get into range to make it happen. There is a big grouping around this Apophis, and will they choose to go for it? They're kind of slugging around, seeing if they can find anyone to pick. But really, they're just kind of wasting the time that they have on that Phoenix. I want to see them just go for this Apophis now and worry about pushing their advantage later. They have the advantage. They've just got to seize the moment.
Exactly. They need to take the fight. I mean, yes, it becomes a 50-50 chance when the enemy team is up, and they have a lot of good secure on their team, but look at how much burst they have. And send someone to zone, just like now, and there we go. Oh. Now Apophis is going to drop. Never mind, they dropped off of it. They're going into the fight. This Whirlwind of Rage and Steel is now coming out. It is going to be used. The suns go down. The girdle means go. Everyone is fighting. Aram gets the kill. Crypto gets one onto Corkman. Now coming into the back. Masterful Shot is going to find something, but Frinzen is going to find that last hit onto it. Chasing them down. Can the Thanatos get away? Maybe, maybe, maybe not today. Come on. It's almost there. The nice ricochet for the stun, but the Masterful Shot at the end of the day takes his name and puts it on the grave. Now, in the meantime, over on the left-hand side, you do see there is a siege minion going down. They are going to need to contest that and get rid of it soon. Otherwise, you know, it's going to do a little bit of damage on there. It looks like they're choosing to do Apophis right now.
Yeah, they are going to go for Apophis, and of course no one is left to contest this any longer, so this will go down relatively free. Wheelix has respawned and is going to go take care of that Juggernaut. I imagine everybody resets here, and especially important for those to go get those blue buffs, and Apophis is chosen over there in their own jungle. Once that one starts, it's kind of random as to where this one spawns, but hopefully it goes up to this left-hand side, so they have a bit of an excuse to go take this tower and the other Phoenix.
Yeah, they need that pressure over on the left-hand side to really push that up. They've been focusing a lot on the right, which was easy to do just due to the early game and how much they were really able to push those waves in and get that early damage onto the tower. I mean, it was at half health before 7 minutes happened. That's absolutely uncalled for unless there's massive fights happening, but there wasn't at that time in the game. Now it looks like that siege is going to spawn on the right-hand side, but still good, because that means the team can group up over on the left if they choose and push.
Mulan is so dead.
But
she's
Mulan
so dead.
Mulan doesn't know. Mulan doesn't know. Didn't get the memo. Mulan's go. Oh my gosh, no, Fishboy. I'm so sorry. Dave64 credit for that kill. Never mind. They're just gonna run this down the right lane. I think they might just look to end this one here.
They can certainly try, but all ultimates of the 4 members of late rotations are available. They're back to base. The sprint is popped. They're trying to go for it. Thanatos is also in the air, but he misses and takes a boulder to the face.
Little too much coming through. The girdle is popped. Damage to the Titan is not coming through, but damage to the team definitely is. A crypto does fall. A really good whirlwind of Rage of Steel onto that one. A better driving strike to get everyone away. Damage onto the Titan is now being focused. It is dropping. It has dropped. And game number 1 will go to Awkward Silence.
They just came out on top in what seemed like every single engagement. I mean, I'm not going to say that their comp was better, but, you know, I will say their comp was so much better. I mean,
the comp was ridiculous. It was so good.
Especially in a game mode where your relics are also random. Poor Huyi couldn't get beads. He was just getting a Wheelix pulled every single time, and what does a Huyi do when he's got no jump? He just dies. He throws down the suns and waves goodbye to his team, and that's certainly what happened a lot. And unfortunately for the rest of the squad, they all did fall down as well many times. So hopefully next round they get a little bit better of a comp. Their builds themselves were not so bad, but it's really the combination is what gets you the victory here.
Yeah, that's definitely what's going to come into play for it. Well, we'll see what combination they are able to get as we go into game 2. If Late Rotations is able to take this one, or Awkward Silence able to fight back.